Hey guys, welcome to the Great Human Reconnect. I'm your host Hayden Binney, and today we've got a very special guest. Can you please introduce yourself?
Thanks for having me first and foremost. My name is Chris Walker. I guess introducing yourself is so interesting every time because so much changes all the time. But essentially, originally I'm from a place called Orange. I'm a business owner. I've had my own journey in life, but essentially I run a business called Travel Fit. I have two other businesses as well, but essentially, do you want me to dive into my story of how it began?
Tell us everything.
Okay, cool. Well, we have to go back a bit. So in this day today, I am 32 years old. So I've had a few years under my belt so far, which has been really cool. But I was from a place called Orange. So do you know Orange?
I haven't been, but I know of it.
Yeah, Orange it's a nice place. It's super beautiful. But in terms of opportunities wise, there's not too much. So originally I was born in Canberra. We moved to Orange in 2000, and then I was in Orange till I was around 22. So I left Orange in 2015. But before I left Orange, I had quite a few experiences. So I was born, my dad left when I was born. My mum's got spina bifida, so it means she's never been able to fight. Never been able to fight. The thing about the fight night, she's never been able to walk. But tough as nails, super inspiring lady. She's definitely where I get some of my entrepreneur traits from. She used to create cards from scratch and then sell them to make money. But very much I was struggling from an early age with getting Centrelink payments. She just couldn't get a job. There wasn't such a thing as NDIS or the support systems that are in place that are in now back then. So there was a lot of Christmases where there weren't presents. There were weeks where maybe we didn't have food, or the doubt comes in of being well, why do all these other people have all these things in life? And so that early on, I got to learn about not having the same experience in this life as everyone else, essentially.
Yep.
Going further along the track, those, early days then led into other challenges in life, such as I had friends who committed suicide, died from drug overdoses. I then went into a bit of a spiral in my own life from being an alcoholic, just using too many recreational drugs, smoking, and just getting stuck in a loop of just surviving, I would say. And that kind of then led to me being severely anxious, severely depressed, and having suicidal ideation when I was younger. So there was lots of times where, I had a partner and I didn't tell my partner, I didn't tell anyone for the longest time, that I used to think about just driving into a brick wall and just ending it, because I just couldn't deal with the noise that was constantly in my head. And I remember I was on the side of the road actually one night. I think it was 10 o'clock at night, and I rang a friend and I was like, man, I don't know what to do. I'm struggling. And anyway, from that moment, I just remember him crying and being like, man, there's so much more out there for you. You can get through whatever this is. We're here. We love you, and so on. And, I remember asking myself, could I be more? Is there something else that I can do? Can I change my life? And that was really the starting point of me letting my mum know that I was going through these things, letting the people around me know that I was struggling so much with so much mental health. And then just starting to change my life slowly but surely from, drinking all the time and smoking, taking drugs all the time, going on benders, doing all the things, to being I'm going to try and reduce drinking. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to start to seek new experiences in my life. I'm going to start to work out. I'm going to go see a psychologist. And that was really the turning point for me. And it also was the starting point of me really becoming passionate about personal development, becoming passionate about improving, passionate about realizing how great life was, and going from that starting point to being all right, wow, I've started to improve my life. I'm working out. I'm working on my mindset. I've started reading, started eating better, started changing my environment of the people who I'm hanging around. That started to formulate wow, there's got to be more out there for me. I wonder what else I can see and experience. And then I booked after a breakup, as we all do after breakups, very challenging, especially for guys, because we don't really talk about it as much, I believe.
Yep.
But yeah, after that breakup, I was like, man, there's got to be more in life as well. So I improved myself, had a breakup, proved myself again. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to move to London. And I booked a one-way ticket to London, organised my visa, moved over there at the end of the year after working 3 jobs.
Was it a very spontaneous booking, the flight to London?
I would say it was as spontaneous as it could be for someone as rigid as me.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
So the decision was spontaneous, but the commitment was full straight away. And yeah, and then I just saved as much money as I could, because I just knew that I had to leave Orange to go experience something else out of the environment that I was constantly felt like I was stuck in, I guess, all the time. And yeah, in 2015 in October, I moved to London, and that was kind of where the next phase of my journey started to unravel. And I lived there for 2 years, and it was very interesting because you start to realize how small you are in this world.
100%.
And nothing actually matters in as much as we amplify all the chaos or stress that is around us all the time. You start to realize that you don't actually have to be attached to all the chaos and stress. And for me, after that 2 years, I traveled to, I think I went to around 28 countries in 2 years. I've worked a few jobs. I worked as a stage setup, personal trainer, worked in support work there, and I worked in fine dining, hotels, and like restaurants and events. So I was super lucky. I got to serve the Queen, Leonardo DiCaprio, Will Smith, Margaret Robbie, Jared Leto, numerous amounts of celebrities. And I worked in events like working behind a bar that was made out of ice, while there's people like twirling off the roof, and the whole experience of working in these private events as well was that multi-millionaires, billionaires were in these events. And it really opened my eyes to, there is another world out there that, you know, we don't even realize, because everything is very exclusive and hush-hush. Whatever you see, you don't talk about. The amount of things that I've seen in those events is crazy. But really what that taught me, you know, working all those jobs and traveling, was that there's no difference between us and someone else. It's only the fixation that people put upon someone to be on that pedestal that they place them on. And that you can achieve whatever you want in life. It just really depends on whether you believe in yourself, whether you think you're worthy of it, and actually is it in line with like what you want out of life, purpose, values, things of that nature. And at the end of that 2 years, it was probably 3 months before I was supposed to come back home, and I was walking on the east side of London. I used to go to this gym called Muscle Hut. I was the scrawniest dude there, but it was so funny. It's like such a ghetto area. It's called Leytonstone. That's where I lived.
Okay.
And I was like zone 4, I'm pretty sure. And I was walking back from Muscle Hut, and I was just like, man, like, what do I do with my life? Like, I can't go back to Orange and just work a normal job again and just feel stuck, and I don't want to like spiral back into old behaviors and old patterns as such. And I was just walking back home, and I was just like, what could I do that would help me improve my mind, body and soul, but also help people improve their lives through their mind, body and soul, realize that they can do anything in life, but also aligned in the life that I want, which is to be free, fulfilled, content, grateful, all the things. And as I was walking back, it was just like lightning just like went, and like instantly Travel Fit popped into my head.
Okay.
And I had no idea what it was going to be. I was like, maybe it's food trucks with healthy food. Maybe it's just clothes.
The name just came to you.
Yeah, the name just came to me like that. It was like lightning just pierced through my whole body, and that's all I know.
Okay.
And that was in 2007. 2017. Yep, 2017. And from that moment, I instantly knew that I was meant to do something with Travel Fit. That's all I knew. And so I just started playing around with logos and playing around with what ideas I could do while I was running my PT stuff online as well. And anyway, my visa ran out. I came back to Australia. Instead of moving to Orange, I moved to the Sunshine Coast.
Okay, yes.
So that's why I'm still here.
Perfect.
And I moved here because I had a partner at the time. It just didn't work out. We were together for probably 2.5 years, maybe 3 years. And then, I think it was about 2.5 years. And anyway, didn't work out, different values, different points in life. And for me, I was just like, you know what, I had a breakup. In short, I wanted to pursue this business and I wanted to, and I was so obsessed with like building this business to be successful, but she didn't see what I saw, which create the misalignment in values.
Yeah.
But after we broke up, unfortunately, I was homeless for 2 weeks. So I had to go stay. Thankfully, I had someone that I could go see and like stay in their spare room. And before we even broke up, I opened my business at one of the gyms on the coast here. And if you know anything about gyms, it's like you don't get paid. You have to like pay the gym to work out of the gym. Yeah. And it cost me $310 a week just for the gym. That's not including rent for my own place when I was about to move out somewhere else. But essentially I was like, wow. So I have a car. I'm staying at a friend's house, essentially on his couch. I have nowhere to go. I have no money. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm just looking at this wall like, I was 24 and I was like, is this really my life now? I've just gone from traveling the world, having these extravagant experiences, and all I feel like I have right now is this one mission, like this one business, this one purpose. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with Travel Fit, but I'm just going to have to go all in on PT and then I'll just build out Travel Fit from there. Yeah. So 3 months later, I built my PT business. I found a house to move into, which I'm so grateful for. It was just the perfect house with the perfect people in the right time. But the car that I owned wasn't mine, it was hers. Okay. So I had to give the car back to her when I found somewhere to live. And so I would walk to work. I'd get up at 3:30 in the morning. I'd walk to the gym. It took me an hour to walk there. I'd work all the way till around 8 p.m, 8:30, walk back, take me an hour, get in, settle in, food, do admin, do outreach, like organize my outreach for the next day, outside of the in-between of coaching people, doing marketing, doing social media, doing everything else in between, just going extremely hard in life, dropping multiple flyers all around like Sunshine Cove and all over the coast, like hundreds and hundreds of flyers. Not a great return on investment, but good experience.
Businesses in the past, I've done the flyer drops as well, and it's not always the best.
It's it's momentum, but it doesn't give you much of a return sometimes, I believe.
The way I look at it, sort of put the work in, you're going to be rewarded for
100%.
I would sort of look at it, okay, I need to put out a few thousand flyers. Yeah. And then in a month or two's time, if I keep doing it consistently, it's all going to work out.
100%.
If you don't water the plant, it's not going to grow.
Well, that's it. And that's like the unspoken rule. I think a lot of people forget. It's like sometimes it's just taking action instead of just sitting there thinking that you need to take the perfect action. Yeah. And that's literally something that is my life. People are like, how do you do this? How do you do that? It's like, it's because I just run towards failure and I just do what's necessary all the time. Yeah. And I just don't care if I fail. Yeah. And especially like based on the experiences that I guess I've had in life too. It's like, I already know what it feels like to feel the worst you can possibly feel. So I'm not afraid to feel that anymore because I know how to overcome that. Yeah. And I think people do fear that a lot of the time too. But yeah, anyway, I did that and I kept building and I got it to a point where, got it to 6 figures, which was really cool.
Awesome.
But then I had it wasn't a stroke, but I lost, some would call it a TIA, a transit ischemic stroke. Some would just say it was just due to stress. But what it felt like was I lost half the feeling in the left side of my body. I like collapsed as I was training someone. They pulled me over to the couch. I was sitting on this like couch in this gym, and then got taken to the hospital. And I was like, wow, I'm gonna die. Like I was in the ambulance, and I was like, this is it. Was it worth it? Yeah. And I was like, no, it wasn't. And from that point, being in the ambulance, being taken to the hospital, having this thought and being like, I think I genuinely thought I was going to die because I had no idea what was happening. And then realizing that it wasn't worth it, what I was doing, that's when everything really started to change for me. Because I thought I was invincible. I thought I could just work my way out of anything. Yeah. And then what happened was I got out of hospital the next morning, or it might have been that night actually. It was okay. The symptoms subside after 24 to 48 hours. So, but one thing they do say, they're like, if it is categorized as a mini stroke or a TIA, then you have around like 3 years where it's highly likely you'll have a stroke. I was never given like the label of it was mini stroke or a TIA, but I've talked to professionals and they say there's a high likelihood that it was a TIA. But unfortunately, I don't get that privilege of being like, that's what it was, which would have given me a lot of closure. Yeah. Because it sounds like you're a crazy person when you're like, oh yeah, I had all these feelings, but like they won't recognize it as this. And only I know what I felt. But yeah, from that moment, I realized that I'm not invincible. I can die. As funny as it sounds, the ignorance was gone, and I was like, well, I have to look after myself. And from that point, when I started to do a lot of self-care things, I hated meditation, hated mindfulness, but I forced myself to do it. I implemented routines. I implemented a morning routine before everyone was doing the morning routine, before it was a trend.
Before it was cool.
Yeah, before it was cool. After this experience in 2018, that was. And like that's where Travel Fit started to formulate, because I was like, wow, if I'm experiencing this kind of burnout, there must be other people out there that are experiencing the same. And if I can overcome this for myself, which I did, then I can help other people overcome this as well. And that's when I realized that it's not just mindset, it's not just body, it's not just soul. It's a mixture of mind, body, and soul in one, through experiences, education, accountability, all the avenues that allow people to really be like, wow, all the little cogs in the wheel need to work and function well so that you can see it actually turning. Yeah. It's not just one big macro thing. It's actually just a lot of micro things we need to work on. Every 1% is more important than every 10%. Okay. And from there, I started running retreats. The instance between that realization was about another year of PT work where I built that up.
What did these retreats look like?
Well, what's so funny is I failed at running a retreat for 2.5 years. Okay. I kept trying to run a retreat. So through the PT business, I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to run this retreat. Yep. I kept advertising. I just could not fill the retreats. I didn't have the skill set, or maybe the resources, or I would say the understanding to put it together. So for 2.5 years, I attempted to run retreats and couldn't get the numbers, or kept failing. And it wasn't until COVID happened and my PT business went down the drain. I rebuilt it up and down multiple times. I was pretty exhausted by the end. But it was about midway through COVID where I was like, I'm just going to go all out on this retreat. I'm going to create it. We were supposed to do it in Byron Bay. We kept getting locked out of the New South Wales state because of all the issues with the lockouts of going between states and such. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do a day experience. Yeah. So we created this day experience on the Sunshine Coast. And from there, I was like, okay, I think I can make this work. Yeah. And from there, we put together this retreat in this beautiful location, the Mullaney hinterland. Yeah. And it had breathwork, ice baths, mindset workshop. We had this activity, thinking back on it, it's actually probably not the safest thing because there was this huge cliff and we're like, oh, this is like your initiation. You have to jump off this cliff into the water. And it was like, I reckon it was at least 14 meters high.
Okay, yeah.
Hey? So it's like pretty decent for people who've never done that before. And the funny, like, people listen to this, but like, whoa. But the funny thing was, like, me and a few other guys just literally swam in the water before everyone jumped in. We were like, yep, seems safe. Should be fine. Should be okay. So it had a lot of exposure to, fundamental things that work around like mindfulness, education around like the mindset, nutrition, like good healthy food, the ice bars for the induced stressed controlled environments. And then the biggest thing I always say is like there's a workout and yoga and breath work in there as well. Breath work was probably a lot of people would say like the breakthrough moment for them. Yeah. Because what the coolest thing about breath work is your nervous system holds so much stress over the years, and then we keep suppressing, and then from that, if you never express it, then it's getting stored in your nervous system. That's why so many people have so much subconscious stress or so much subconscious doubt or self-worth issues or whatever it may be. And it's not just from that individual, it comes from obviously the first 7 years of life with those experiences that you have from conditioning from maybe someone you love said you weren't worthy of something, or maybe a stranger said to you, oh, you're just dumb, or whatever it is. And those are the circumstances. So the first 7 years are the most fundamental years of our life because they actually dictate the rest of our life. And if we don't address those things when we're older, then that actually creates the autopilot loop that we're constantly in life.
So it's safe to assume a lot of people have a lot of built up stuff from those first 7 years of their life, and that could be why they are where they are.
Yeah. I think a lot of people judge everyone for living a certain way in life, but they actually don't understand they're actually probably doing the best they can with the tools that they currently have, or the conditioned beliefs that they currently have that allows them to see the world in a certain way.
Yeah.
They just haven't been exposed to an experience that allows them to think, wow, maybe I can change, which I think is pretty rad. Like, it's pretty cool that you could have one conversation or one experience that could completely change your life forever. And I guess circling back, it's just, we did that first retreat after, failing for 2.5 years. And from there, that was the point where I was like, wow, this is it. This is what we're going to do. And you'd think that would be it, but it wasn't.
It's never that straightforward.
It's never that straightforward. The thing, what went from there is, by this time, COVID was easing out. Life was getting back to normal. I went through this period of being like, wow, like, I don't want to be a PT anymore. I've done it for nearly 10 years. I don't love it anymore. So I stopped. I don't know why, but I needed to get away from that identity as Chris the PT.
Yep.
And I stepped away from running a business, and then I went and worked for 2 gyms. And then I was doing that for a little bit just to make money and just to get by. And that was great, but I still wasn't fulfilled. I was like, I thought I could just live this normal life, 9 to 5 in a working environment. I couldn't. It's not who I am. I'm not programmed that way. I'm not wired that way. And I really struggled with it. And I think it took me 1.5 years for me to figure that out.
Yeah.
And then something clicked in my brain again. And I was like, you know what? I can't do it. I've got to just go all in on Travel Fit. So I quit both the gym jobs. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but you know what I'm going to do just to make sure I've got my maximum amount of time in Travel Fit? I went and did DoorDash at night, and I would do that.
We've all been there.
Yeah. And do you know what? It was the most humbling experience of my life, going from making 6 figures in your own business to doing DoorDash.
KFC, stuff like that. Yeah,
it was so interesting. I got like attacked by dogs. It was crazy. But I used to have this thing where I'd have like car university, and I would I would mass play books, audiobooks or podcasts as I was delivering these things for, anywhere between, I'd usually do it from around 5 to around 12, maybe 1 or 2 in the morning.
Okay, wow.
And then in the mornings, I'd probably start my day around 8, and then I would network. And I would show up and go to these networking events, Sunshine Coast, Brisbane, Gold Coast, and just try and build communities, connections.
I've got to ask on that because networking is one thing I've wanted to start actually doing. Are those meetings worth it? Is it actually worthwhile?
I think everything's worthwhile based on what you're looking for. So a great example for me is business-wise, I got a few opportunities from it. Mm-hmm. Was it worthwhile? I think yes, because it opened the door to me sharpening my blade and presenting workshops to companies or people and exposing me to more people.
Yeah.
I think the real benefit is that it was just consistently getting me uncomfortable with like talking to strangers all the time. Yeah. So I can go talk to anyone now. Like I feel so confident in the ability. I just talk to someone just like, hey man, what are you doing? Oh yeah, what's your life? Like I think that's where it was really beneficial. I think business building to a degree, I think a lot of people go to chambers to build business. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's actually, me personally, I don't really believe, a lot of people argue with this, that is the right way. I think if you really just want to build a business, you just need to do the required actions that you need to do. Lead gen, make calls, like talking to someone to build your network is great. But at the end of the day, you could just call someone who's looking for the services that you offer and offer them the solution to their problem.
It can be that simple. A lot of people do overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
Like I've sort of started slowly stepping out on the business I was doing. I was doing like pressure washing, stuff like that. And it's like...
Good business model.
Yes, at first, but then it sort of got to a point where I'm like, I'm not enjoying this. I'm not liking the chemicals. I'm not liking the sun. I'm not liking the work. And it's like, I knew exactly what I needed to do. Run Facebook ads, run Google ads. It's like, it's simple. You do that, do the job, but it's like one of those things, there's something inside of you that's like, I know what to do, but it was like, this just isn't quite it.
Yeah.
Because I used to always look at people and be like, oh, like you don't have to do something you're passionate about. Or it's like, all that content I consumed, like, oh no, like, do you think the millionaire that does cement's passionate about cement? No, it's just about money.
Yeah.
And in the last couple of weeks, why I've started doing this podcast, a big thing that stuck out to me was listening to, it was a thing by Luke Bellmeyer about Gary Brecker, about the highest frequency and the higher, I think he was saying 10 times higher than the frequency of love's the frequency of authenticity.
Yeah.
And it's realizing that, damn, like, why am I going to go through this life trying to just do what I think I need to do? I need to go through and do what like is authentic to me. And it's like, this business, this isn't what I want to do. It's sort of like transitioning out of that to now like transitioning into podcasting, trying to create travel content. It's like it's very weird. It's like the last couple of weeks I've had this very big shift where it was very just like macho to now it's like I'm feeling like the most in my emotions as I've ever felt. And it's like...
Because how old are you?
23.
Oh, yeah.
I've still got,
Yeah.
It's like I've now just starting to actually realise like who I am. I thought the whole time I'm like, okay, it's just got to be making money. It's like now that isn't the be all and end all. I just want to be happy. I just want to be free. I just want to be able to go and do what I actually love every day. Like at the minute, I'm at a point I would rather turn away thousands of dollars worth of jobs and pay thousands of dollars to do these podcasts, which I'm not going to make anything from, but I know
not yet, maybe.
Fingers crossed, we'll have sponsors here. But like, it's like just stepping out of the comfort zone and being like, this is what I want to do. Talking to people isn't that scary. You've just got to do it. And I think, it's a really beautiful thing.
And you also have to think like the prefrontal lobe doesn't get developed till it's 25, till you're 25. And what you're going through it's such an interesting journey. I believe there's like a few points over so many years, like the space between like 21 and 25 is a weird time. The space between like 27 and 30 is a really weird time. Those are like two really weird times. And then you got like 16, I'd say like maybe like 16 to 18's a bit chaotic as well. But every time frame has a different purpose. So maybe from 16 to 18, you're realizing that you're becoming an adult.
Yeah.
And then between, let's just say 21 to 25, you're realizing that you're maturing and you're deciding what kind of adult you want to be. And then between 27 and 30, you're deciding whether you want to be a successful adult.
Yeah.
That's what I believe, because especially from 27 to 30, like I reckon that was the weirdest time for me, if I'm honest. It was the most challenging time, because we're constantly evolving, not every decade, but every day. And a lot of the time we think we need to be this person, but it's not true. You can be a tree tomorrow if you really wanted to. Like legitimately, like it really depends like on your understanding that you're not tied down to the life that you're living right now. You're tied down to the thoughts and limitations that you're implementing in your own life. It's not, you're not stuck, you're choosing to stay.
Okay, yeah.
And that's what I think's really mind-boggling, that we think we're stuck, but realistically there's always a way out. You just have to decide. And I was chatting to a client the other day, and we were kind of talking about, what he does. I can't really say what he does, but it's not illegal or anything. It's like, oh no, I've done it. I slapped the thing.
That's all right.
He's an athlete.
Yep.
And the decision was, does he continue his career in this athletic arena? And we were talking about it, and like, you're feeling chaos because you haven't decided whether you want to, just run businesses or pursue this athletic pathway. And once you decide, everything will feel free again. But you have to decide. You can't just think about it.
Yeah.
And I use this weird analogy. I'm not going to say it because it was very strange. But essentially, you can't make a decision and then take it back. You have to have made that decision and then move forward. It can't be something where you're like, oh yeah, like I think I'm going to do that. It's like, no. There's no think. It's like the whole trying thing. The word trying is so strange.
I feel a lot of people, what would you say for most people, like, how do they make that shift from like saying it to the moving on? While a lot of people these days, I'm guilty of it myself, you say you're going to do something and then you're sort of like, maybe not. Like, how do you make that shift?
I think you have to, one is like, it's not that deep.
Yep.
We just make it really deep. But the process to it would be, you have to understand, as simple as it is, the cons and pros. It's like, what are the benefits of me doing this? Okay, it's this, this, and this. What are the benefits of this, this, and this? Okay, cool. Which benefits do I prefer? Probably this one. Okay, cool. What are the cons to this and what are the cons to that? Okay, that's that and that's that. Okay, cool. Well, which cons are worse? That one. Okay, cool. So based on the information that you've received, this is the better choice to make. Then you have to consciously say to yourself and verbalize it, I'm going to choose to do this. And then you need to tell someone that that's what you're going to do. And that's it. And then you just have to move on. You have to, it's not tricking your brain, which I think a lot of people try and do. They try and trick their brain into doing something, like they need to be persuaded. Yeah. You don't need to be persuaded. You just need to be committed to the decision that you make, because the big thing that causes so much chaos for people is that because people don't commit to the word of what they're saying, they don't value, one, themselves, and two, their word. And if they don't value themselves, they won't respect themselves. And so if they say something, then they're not actually going to follow through with it, because they don't trust themselves enough to follow through with it. Yeah. So the number one rule, I believe, is to make any decision in life and be committed to it, is by stop saying things and not doing them. Whatever you say, you have to do, because once you do that, your nervous system, your body will trust you enough where you'll follow through with it. Because, have you heard of your RAS system?
No, I haven't.
So your RAS system is your reticular activation system. It's part of the brain. A lot of people know it as like red car theory.
Okay, yeah.
So whatever you think about, you will see. So it's like, look for blue, there's blue,
Yeah.
So that is the same in terms of like, if you like trust yourself enough and you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to decide that this is what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain, your reticular activation system will then work for you because subconsciously you've made that decision and consciously you've made that decision. So now your RAS system is going to identify that as a search bar on a computer, and it's going to file through everything in your surroundings, in your life, and find the solution to the problem that you want solved. So a great example, it's like finances are always like a bit of a good one to use as an example. So it's like someone says, I want to make 100K a year. It's like, okay, cool. You will see in your RAS system, you're not going to see 100K just be presented to you, but you're going to see an opportunity appear where someone says, hey man, I haven't seen you for 3 years. You wouldn't happen to be interested in partnering in this car wash business, and just I'll give you 5% of the business or whatever it is. Initially, the buy-in term isn't that great, but after a year, you could be making 100K. So like the I guess like the opportunities that come from a conversation or someone popping by or whatever it is always lead to your goal. Mm-hmm. But because we live in a world of instant gratification, no one really makes it through the delayed gratification process, and then they never get to the goal that they actually want, even though it's being presented to them. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That probably leads us into sort of a next little segue. I'm going to say 2 words, and I'd like you to just, without thinking, tell me what first comes to mind.
Okay.
Self-belief.
I would say self-belief. Can I say as much as I want on it?
As much as you want.
Okay. Self-belief is something that not a lot of people have in life because not a lot of people actually understand what self-belief is. Self-belief is not just believing that you can achieve something. Self-belief is understanding how to love yourself fully, unconditionally, so that you feel like you're worthy of achieving anything you want in life. Mm-hmm. That's what I think. I think self-belief is something where it's a vote for yourself every day. Self-belief is you work out, you voted for yourself today. Self-belief is hanging around good people that want to bring you up, not push you down, because you think you're worthy enough to have that. Self-belief is the opportunity to pursue something even though it doesn't make sense because you believe in it so much. And self-belief is something really where when you get enough votes of doing everything that is essentially self-love or voting for yourself every day, eventually all the votes tally up and the poll comes in, and then you realize you can do anything and everything you want in life. That's what it kind of means to me anyway. And we go deeper, but that's probably like
I mean, for sort of people listening, what would you recommend for them to be able to actually have self-belief? I feel like a lot of people, they know like, I need to believe in myself, but they really do struggle, especially when they start the path and then they get those little voices creep in, the self-doubt.
Yeah.
What would you have to say about that?
There's like 2 things with that. So one, like the voices that creep in, this is something that I tell everyone to do, and I do with myself too. The voices that creep in aren't bad voices. Mm-hmm. They're actually like, your ego trying to protect you. Mm-hmm. So I would say, it's like, picture this. It's like, imagine your nan, it was rain, like it was cold outside, and your nan comes up to you and she's got a little coat or something. She's like, put the coat on. And you're like, no, it's okay. Like I'm fine. Like I'm going to be okay. That is the voices. Those are the egos. They're trying to protect you from going outside of your comfort zone. Yep. Because if we don't go outside of a comfort zone, then we don't change. But it's protecting you from danger. So one, identifying that those voices in your head, whether they're bad or they're good or whatever it is, just understanding that that's actually a deeper part of you just trying to protect yourself, and then reassuring yourself that I'm going to be okay. I think that's important because that's all it is. It's your internal system or your inner child being like, I don't know if we're going to be okay. And then just being like, you know what, little Chris, I love you, man, and you're going to be okay and we're going to make it through. But I need you to trust me. And that is one thing you can start to do is by building inner trust, because then if you build that inner trust, you build self-belief. But the other thing is really asking yourself questions and answering the questions. So there's something called writing the end script, which is really cool. It's a cognitive restructuring tool. And it's where a great example, you might say, oh, actually we'll use judge and jury. Judge and jury is much better. Judge and jury technique is also a restructuring tool, but it's like you say to your voice says, oh, I don't know how to believe in myself. And then I would go, the judge and jury, this imaginary judge and jury, you would have to appeal to the court that reason why you don't believe in yourself. And if there's not enough evidence, it's an invalid claim. It's not real. It's just something you're making up. It's a distortion. So a lot of the time you have to think rationally in these points. You can't just be like, it can't be an emotional, like, this is my evidence and this is how I feel. It's like, no, like, what's the real evidence here? Yeah. So a great example, it's like, let's just say, oh, I don't believe in myself. And then I would present evidence like, well, I feel this way, so I don't believe in myself. Or I feel like I'm not worthy, so I don't believe in myself. And it's like, well, just because you feel a way that's actually not enough evidence to say that you're not worthy of it. That's just a feeling that you're feeling right now, which is not invalid, but it's not enough evidence. So the court would come back and say, okay, look, based on the evidence, this actually isn't enough evidence to prove that you're not worthy of something. Another way of asking yourself questions could be, for an example, I got told that I'd never be smart enough to do X, Y, and Z. And you'd be like, you have to become like a third person negotiating with yourself and be like, but that person doesn't actually know me and they don't actually understand that I actually get up every day and I work out, or I chat with friends, or I'm actually a really good person to other people. So if anything, I deserve whatever I want in life. But two, by getting up every day, I'm actually showing how resilient I am to work through the thing. And I know that if I can get up every day, and then surely I can spend at least 10 minutes every day learning about something that would get me closer to the outcome of the goal that I want. And from there, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Do I have 10 minutes every day to work on this one thing that's going to make me feel smart enough? I do. It's not that, whatever the belief is, it's not that you're not smart enough. It's that you haven't actually shown up for yourself. It's not that you can't make money. It's that you haven't taken the action to make money. It's not that you're not lovable. It's that you haven't shown love to yourself. Mm-hmm. Everything has an equal and opposite reaction in the way that we I guess, identify certain thought patterns that arise. But it's up to us as an individual to take responsibility and actually choose to vote for ourselves with the response that we give ourselves. It's like if something's going wrong in your life and you're enabling the negative thought, then you're choosing to experience that. Like, it is all a choice. And people be like, well, you don't know my life and you don't know what's going on. And it's like, I don't. You're right. But I do know what it's like to be stuck in a chaotic state where I didn't have money growing up, and I'm still on that journey. I'm still learning everything now. But going from, someone who got told that, I actually got told I had an intellectual disability when I was at school. Yeah. I don't. It was just the system just didn't cater to the way I learned. Yeah. So to be told that, and be told I'd never be a good PT, be told I'd never be able to run a business, all these things, I had two pathways. It was go down the path of being like, they're right. Old mate who bought the pine at the bar who said I wouldn't be a good PT, he was right. Or be like, cool, man, thanks for your input. I'm just going to put that to the side because I don't believe in that. Yeah. That's not my reality. That's yours. Yeah. And that's okay. You can have that reality. I don't give a fuck, but I'm going to move on with my life and I'm going to choose to vote for myself every day. So the vote is, it's like, do you vote for a negative outcome or a positive outcome? And even if everything is so hard in your life, you have to reframe how you see the world. At the end of the day, life is as good or as bad as you believe it is, and you're right either way.
I feel a lot of people these days they're looking for sympathy. They want to, like, everyone's competing with each other. No, my life's harder. Yeah. I've had this worse. No, my dad didn't talk to me when I was 4, whatever it might be. It's like so many people are looking at that, and a shift I've used recently, it's like, if anything's going wrong, obviously you're going to have a moment where you're like, damn, this feels like it's the worst thing ever. How am I going to recuperate? But then you sort of step back. I've done a lot of traveling in my years, and it's like, it could be so much worse. Like I've seen places where it's like, I could be in South Africa. I could be living in these townships where these people have literally nothing. It's like it can always be 10 times worse. And I feel like we're so lucky where we're born to where what we can actually do, experience, and like the life we live. I feel like it's just got to turn things from why am I in a bad mood for no reason to, okay, let's be in a good mood for no reason.
100%.
It's making that little shift.
What's the vote? What vote do you choose to vote for today?
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I'm very big. I like to consume a lot of content from like people like Alex Kamosi and stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's like, that was one of the biggest things I heard from him. It's just like, if you're in a bad mood for no reason, be in a good mood for no reason.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you going to walk around with like just a resting bitch face? Why can't you walk around with a resting happy face?
100%.
And I've tried that the other day. I mentioned earlier, walking in Malil bus, saying hello to every person. It's like just walking with a smile on your face. Even if you don't say anything, the people look at you like they're smiling back at you like, oh, this is another person walking around like this person's smiling. It's just so much easier to go through your life.
It's an interesting thing too in Australia, because Australia is quite different to a lot of the world. You know, like we're a Western society. London is Western society. Things of that nature. London and Australia, Canada and America actually have a lot in common in the way that their society's set up. But you know, it is interesting. You don't really know these things until you travel, like we have. That, you know, everything is a choice at the end of the day, and it really, it's all well and good to, I guess, have those thoughts arise, but one thing is understanding maybe how to work on those thought patterns, because you know, cognitive behavioral therapy stuff. I'm such a big fan of it. That was like one of the best things I ever did for my life. The thing I like about it is just because it's so simple. It's like, listen to the thoughts that are going through your head, listen to how you're speaking, look at the actions that you're taking, and then identify, are they good or bad? And if they're bad, so they're negative, they're having a negative impact on your mental health or your physical health, then adjust them, change them, choose to do something or think a different way, because you can. It's like, I'm a potato. It's like, I'm not a potato. I work out every day, you know, like whatever it is. So even that, I think, is a huge thing. It's like, I tell people to do a 24-hour audit on their thoughts and their words and their actions. And then when they look at that and they say, oh, like I did that. Oh, I didn't realize I thought that way so many times throughout a day. Then they can change it. It's like reframing, you know, I'm a potato. No, I'm not a potato. Like, I'm actually really healthy. So just things of that nature, I think, are really, really amazing.
Have you always been or had this interest in like sort of the self-development, self-help, or was there someone or a book or something that you read, listened to, content you absorbed that really changed? Because you sound you're very switched on with this sort of stuff.
I'm like a bit too switched on sometimes, yes. I think.
I'm sitting here like, oh God.
No, it's I don't, you know, people ask this all the time, and sometimes the answer changes. Like, it's a great example of people are like, do you think you're born with it, wanting to like run a business and do all the things? And it's like, maybe, I don't know. I think the conditions that we're in early on in life dictate how we show up in life later. I think anyone can run a business, and I think anyone can change their life. But I think I had an advantage because my life was quite challenging when I was younger, because I learnt how to survive and how to adapt and chameleon myself to, just when I was younger, being visible. So I was staying out of, like, I don't know, certain situations, you know, in school, in life, whatever it is. So I think it is so hard to define whether, like, I've thought about that being that way forever. Yeah. Really, but I do think the whole personal development journey started probably from the age of 17, 16.
Was that around the time you mentioned earlier you were drinking a lot of drugs and stuff, where you had that big moment that changed?
No, I think that was before. Like, I I think at high school, I started to realize that I had to learn how to fit into society, because I never felt like I did fit into society.
Yeah.
Because I was always told that I was like dumb or weird or whatever it is. And then I just switched when I was in year 10, and like, maybe it's the hormones, I don't know. But things changed, and I started to talk to everyone, and I started to work harder, and I started to seek more knowledge so that I wasn't struggling as much. I wanted to close the gap between where I was and where I wanted to be. So I think that's where like the initial starting point was. But I do think that the real big switch was probably from 2022 onwards, when I moved to London. I think that's when everything kind of started to catapult forward, really.
Why London?
Why did I move to London?
Out of anywhere in the world, why did you pick London?
It's quite funny. Originally, I was going to move to the UK, to Canada.
Yep.
But I actually couldn't move there because of the drink driving record. They're quite strict.
Yep.
And then I was like, well, I'm deciding to do somewhere, so I'm going to go to London then.
Yep.
And then they let me in, and I thought it would be a really cool opportunity because it was so close to Europe, and I wanted to travel.
You could easily visit everywhere.
Yeah. And then I was lucky enough to. I think there was a lot of things that I wanted to do in Europe. Like I wanted to do like the bull run and all those kind of fun festivals, and so I did, and that was the place that kind of was the catalyst for a lot of why I think the way I do and how I see the world the way I do as well. Yeah.
Now, I need to make sure I have my information right here.
You're fine.
I'm going to ask you this question.
Is this the question you weren't going to tell me?
Potentially. What does Isaiah 6:8 mean to you?
Damn it. I'm going to butcher it.
Yep,
I'm going to
that's
butcher
all right.
it so bad. But what it means to me, I'm not going to quote it because I'll say it wrong, but what it means to me is it means like rising up when God calls upon you to do what's necessary in society and life for yourself, not to shy away from the challenges that are presented to you. I believe it's like your responsibility to step up, especially, like I call myself a leader in this life. And for me, it's like when the call comes, I won't shy away, no matter what it is. And that's what it really means to me. It's like stepping up when the call is there by God, and that whatever God wants me to do, I will do.
So would you say you're quite strong in your faith?
I'd say I'm getting there. I like, you take everything away from me, and as long as I've got God, I'm happy in life. Like God changed my life. Like I've been an atheist. I've been through the whole spiritual kind of avenue, but I've never felt so much peace. And it even makes me really sad because like, not even sad, but just like so much, I could cry like instantly. I'm just like, oh, hold it. Because God, like you'll never feel so much love in your heart. Like the world will not deliver to you what God can give to you. Like it's the whole, don't seek what your flesh wants, seek what your soul is after, which is a relationship with God.
100%.
And I think I really wish that people could see how the religion as such, I don't really call it religion, I call it a personal relationship with God, because that's what it is for me. It's been bastardized so much, but if you really look into it, the values, the morals are so pure. And in my hardest times, looking back on my life, God was always there when I felt like I was alone, or things would come through just at the last minute that would save me in so many ways. And I just remember, even since I got baptized last year in March.
That's awesome.
It's been a journey back and forth for a long time. But I just, from that point on, my life has dramatically changed. And like, it's so interesting. Every person I connect with or I chat to, strangers, people I know, friends I already had, all believe in God.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. And I met a guy in Bali, and his name's the real Tarzan. Do you know him?
That name sounds really familiar.
He literally wrestles snakes and alligators, travels all around the world.
Is he American?
Yeah, American.
Yep, I think, yeah.
He's absolute beast.
Was he the guy that got in trouble up in Darwin?
Maybe. I'm not too sure.
Some
He's in the news.
American guy got in trouble for wrestling crocs up in Darwin.
That was probably him.
Probably was him.
Probably say.
Yeah.
He's like very mindful of like the ecosystem. He does like all his research because he puts these in reports and whatnot. But yeah, like even he's a great example. Like I was in Bali having some time away, just trying to reset after I was a bit burnt out from work, and I was like, oh, I've got to get my flight back to Australia, and I don't know, something clicked, and I was like, I'm not going back for another week or something. Yeah. So I literally just didn't come back, and I bought another flight, and I was going to come back a week later. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to go to Bamboo Fitness. I'm going to go train, have a feed, blah, blah, blah. And I was talking to some people after I trained, and he was sitting across from me. And at this point, I was really struggling. I was like, God, where are you? Like, come on, like, I need something. I need you to show me that you're with me. And I see this guy, and I have no idea who he is. I didn't realize he was famous or whatever. And I was just like, I don't really have a filter. And I was like, bro, you're jacked, eh? Like, you're actually a beast. And he's like, hey, man, my name is... and I was like, hey. And anyway, all we talked about was God.
Yeah.
That was it. He's like, I knew you were the same. Like, you could see they call it like the holy glow. It sounds really ironic, but it's a real thing.
Yeah, 100%.
You know that someone else like believes in God just by looking at their eyes or how they present. It's really interesting. It's kind of like club. Interesting, but not like a cult or anything. But yeah, like, and you know, he said something to me at the end. I was like, oh man, like this is just like the conversation I needed. Like I was literally asking God, you know, like show me something. Yeah. And he's like, man, like even if you think he's not there, he's always there. You just need to listen a little deeper. But long going in and out of that story, it's like, yeah, like God is good and God is great, and he will give you so much wisdom and so much guidance in life, and you just have to let him steer the boat. Yeah. But you've got to paddle. You've still got to paddle.
I love that analogy. I think for me, like personally, I sort of grew up going to sort of Christian Catholic schools, stuff like that, Lutheran. It was very much forced upon me. Hey, we go to church. I'm from a town with a couple hundred people in it. We'd have to go to the next closest town, go to church, wooden pews, have the piano, super old school. All the kids would go to Sunday school. And it was like, I resented going so much. I don't want to go. I couldn't think of anything worse. But that there sort of put a bit of a strain on my faith journey for a while, because I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. Yeah. It's like backstory, like my parents, like they're separated, lived there. Dad moved to the coast because he worked up in the mines closer to the airport. I decided to come with him to the coast and stuff, more opportunities and stuff like that here. And it's like sort of stepped away from a long time. Like, I don't like saying it, but I started to probably become more of like an atheist and believe, sort of would mock it in a way. And then it's like, through one of my really good friends, it's like, he is very, very Christian, his whole life been around, a very spiritual person. And just through sort of hanging out with him at start, I was like, one day I'm like, I'm going to come to church with you. I could see in his eyes, like it lit up. He's like, that's amazing. Yeah. So we started going, and then it was like, at first, I struggled a lot. I liked the messages, but I find a lot of people, you go to church, but you're not actually there. You're not actually present. I struggled a long time. I'd be there. I'd be sitting there, do the music. I was like, oh, I hate the music. I hate singing. Why is everyone so happy? Like, I'm sort of freaked out by this a little bit. And I'm sitting there trying to relate to the message. I'm like checking my phone, checking my watch, checking what sports bets I've placed on the UFC. And I was like, I find there was a moment when I realized all I was looking for was I wanted to get into heaven. I don't want to go to hell. But there was a moment I realized that's not what it's about. It's about actually having a relationship with Jesus. And I was like, that was a beautiful thing. So now it's like everything's changed. I go to church on Sundays. It's like, I love the music. I've got my hands up. I'm singing. It's awesome.
I'm a happy clapper. I love it.
Yeah, I'm into it. I've got both my hands up. I'm like, this is really cool. Like, I think at first it was such like a, I felt really ashamed to do it. I'm like, I feel really awkward. But I'm like, what's the point? Like, why am I going to be awkward? And it's just like little sayings. Like, there's people that I meet that aren't into sort of aren't into the faith and stuff like that. One thing I like to say to them is like, even if you like don't believe, like I'd like to be at the point where I can start to push and talk more with people, but I'm still very early into my journey. I've still got a lot. I feel look, I could be wrong with this. A lot I feel I need to do before I feel I'm in a position where I can try and talk to other people. But I'm like, even if you don't believe, it's like, try and go through life with sort of thinking God's watching. Like, if you're going to go through a decision with like, God's watching you, okay, like, should I be doing this? God's watching you. Should you do it? Probably not. Then not do it.
There's something I think similar to that, but I think treat everyone else like they're Jesus. Man, woman, whatever. You treat everyone as if you're talking to Jesus, and I believe that really affirms to you to continue to be more Jesus-like, and just be a better person, you know.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've found. It's like, I was thinking, I'm starting to come. I used to have very little sympathy for a lot of people. I was very, very cold-hearted. But it's like over the last couple of weeks, especially, I'm like, I'm feeling a lot more in touch with my emotions. I'm feeling a lot more empathy towards people. It's like, I like what's happening with me. It's like, I feel a lot more alive in Christ. So like, the biggest thing I try and go, in all the hard times and all the good times, it's like, God won't walk you to what he won't walk you through.
Yeah.
And I'm like, try and go through that. It's like, no matter what happens, he's here. This is like the bad, like, one of my good mates, Riley, you know Riley, we're on the phone call. He was telling me about this massive, big, challenging time that just happened in his business and stuff. I'm just going there. He's told me everything. And we've got this big thing at the minute, synchronizing.
Yeah.
And like, that's a very big thing. It's like, we're fun. We like to each other. We say something and we're like, okay, synchronize with me. And 9 times out of 10, it's like, we'll say the exact same thing. And it was like, we had this conversation. I'm like, hey, synchronize with me for a second. It was like, click. We both said the same thing. I'm like, what have you asked God for lately? And he was just, and we were both like, he's like, yeah. He's like, as soon as I booked tickets to go to the conference, he's like, everything just started going wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and we sort of sat there talking for a bit and we're like, okay, that went wrong, but now that aspect is better than ever. Now that's going wrong. It's going to help your business take tenfold and sort of leap a little bit further.
Ask for peace, you'll get chaos to learn how to deal or to how to appreciate the peace.
I think that's a big thing. A lot of people sort of look at, they're like, oh, I want to ask God for this. And it's like, oh, I asked for patience and he's just given me this really situation that I'm even more impatient, even more cranky. I'm like, that's the point.
It's like making money. It's like kind of, you can't make more money unless you've learned how to deal with the problems that come with that new level of income a lot of the time. And that's, I think we forget that. And that's just not income. That's like your health. It's like, you want to improve your health. You're going to be challenged with the 1%ers that you're not doing right now because it's going to be new. You're constantly calibrating. It's like growth, exposure, growth, calibration, new level.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, with this, I mean, what would you say is the darkest season you've ever had? Obviously, you've spoken a little bit about some rough moments, but is there one moment in particular that really just hit you hard?
Do you know what? I've had some rough seasons. There's been so many, if I'm honest. And they, the negative can outweigh the positive, which is why I try and be very positive a lot of the time, because it makes me grateful for a lot of things. I think probably the biggest challenge is probably over 2 years ago when I went from working in 2 gyms, doing a bit of PT online, but then just getting rid of PT completely, getting rid of working at the gyms when I was trying to live a normal 9-to-5 life. And when I was showing up every day, I was sending out 100 cold emails a day. I was sending out 100 messages on LinkedIn a day. I was sending out multiple DMs on Instagram. I was putting out so much effort, and then I was, going to network with people and I was showing up as a version of me that I didn't feel like I was or I was worthy of being when it was coming to like presenting workshops or doing speaking events. I was trying to sell a version of me that I really wasn't. And then I was door dashing at night to make enough money to pay my bills, but my accounts were still going in negatives because I had a maxed out credit card.
Yeah.
I had bills that just subscriptions I weren't managing. I was in a position where my accounts were getting negative and negative and negative, and I was so tired because all I was doing was working all the time with seeing no real progress, or not that I could see anyway. There was progress there, but I just wasn't aware. And I was just like, the lowest point was when I was like, because I will have a glass of wine at dinner on a special occasion. That's it. I'm not a drinker. I will smoke a cigar as a special occasion. I just feel like it's a cool thing to do.
It's a very cool thing to do.
But I remember I was in my car and I felt like I couldn't tell anyone how bad I was struggling because I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to lose the power dynamic of people feeling sorry for me, because I felt if people felt sorry for me, they wouldn't respect me enough to give me an opportunity or to look at me in a certain way. So I dealt with all this suffering and all this doubt and all this fear by myself. And I was in my car and I was like, maybe I should just start drinking again, or I feel like drinking. And so that was a pretty low point 2 years ago, because I was just like, who am I? Like, what am I doing? Why am I failing as a 30-year-old? You know, like it's usually most people have kids, they're sorted, they got the whole shebang. And yeah, from that point, it really made me realize, wow, like, is this it for me? And I remember I ended up calling a friend of mine and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm so stuck. And his name's Ty. He's absolute legend. He's a really good friend of mine. And he's been there for like my hardest moments. So it's always like so nice to like catch up with him now, because he's here through the best moments instead of just all the hard times. Such a good guy, such a good human. And anyway, I called him and he's like, what do you think is the thing that is holding you back from actually going further and pursuing this and making it work? And I was like, probably the biggest thing would be my fear of letting my mum down. And he's like, why don't you tell her that? So I did. And I was like, you're right, I have to do that. And I called her. Probably would have been like 10 minutes after that. And I called her and I was like, oh, look, because at the time I was struggling with doing that, like struggling with doing the DoorDash and everything in between, to then I was applying for this job in an electrical plant, Snowdonia. Yep. I was going to work as a coach, go back into the coaching side of things and do PT stuff down there, fly in, fly out, 100K a year. But when you really look at it, it's like, based on the hours, it's actually not great at all.
Yeah.
So I was like, in between, it's like making it work or just giving up and just going to go work in the mines for the rest of my life. And anyway, I called my mum and I was just like, look, I just need to say this. I just want you to know, it's like, I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to do the job for 100K a year. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep pursuing this stuff. I'm going to just go all in and push a little bit harder. And then the next day I made $2,000 from a client that I reached out to well over 6 months ago.
It's crazy how that all works out.
Yeah. So the fact that I like acknowledged the thing that was holding me back emotionally, that allowed me to actually step into fully of feeling like I was worthy of doing something, because I made the choice. I let my mum know. I was like, don't need you to say anything. I just want you to know this, this, and this. I don't want you to be worried. Don't be worried. Do you believe me? Yes. Great. Perfect. I got that belief from that external validation. And then from that point onwards, I was just like, all right, cool. And then I just started to maneuver into another business that I've got now. And yeah, from that point onwards, last year was really the starting point after such a long time of getting everything on track after well over 10 years of yeah, sure, I did 100K a few times in business, but I could never maintain it because I keep burning out. But that after multiple years of eating tuna, rice, oats, struggling to do anything, not traveling for 8 years, not even going out to dinners because I felt so insecure and worried, not dating because I felt like I couldn't provide. After over 10 years of eating dirt and struggling, I got to this point where I just committed and started voting for myself. And then from last year, March, we started this other business. And from then to now, I've now got 18 employees in one business. I've got a general manager. I started another business. And this all happened. This is all actually catapulted in the last 6 months for me. And then I have an app being developed in another country at the moment that I'm going to launch into corporate companies. And
is it all relating sort of into sort of the travel, fitness, coaching?
The app? Or
all of it, yeah.
No. Very different models of business.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is the thing. I'm a believer in that you do need a vehicle, but you also need your purpose. And a lot of people would be like, this great thing. It's like a jack of all trades is a master of none. But the full thing is, but is often better than a master of one. And the lie we're told is I believe that we have to just do one thing and that's it, do it really well.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. I don't think everyone's the same in that. Maybe some people are.
I completely
but not
agree
me.
with
I think for me personally, doing multiple things actually inspires me in life.
Yeah.
Oh, I've done it again. I think it actually inspires me in life to be creative and find solutions and to help more people, and to know that what I'm doing right now is I'm creating so many opportunities to help more people. And the one thing I love the most is I can now be in a position where I help other people. And even when you guys did the fight night, I was still struggling then because just overheads were crazy.
Yeah.
But the fact that I had a skill set by that point to put on a fight night was crazy. I'll never do that again. But it was amazing.
I can only imagine how chaotic that would have been for you.
I was so stressed. I didn't sleep. I was just it was such that event.
I think it turned into a success. I think it went off.
We were in the green. We were definitely in the green. But the costings definitely were a lot higher. No, it was 14 grand.
Oh, wow.
Just to put that on, just to pay for things. So it was pretty crazy, but we were in the green, which is good. Really amazing. But that, even alone in that event, just helped me also go back to being I need to do this for so many other people in this life.
Yeah.
And that's the whole punches for purpose thing is still a thing. But that's when as I continue to go on this journey, my only goal is to just keep creating opportunities for other people.
Yeah.
It's no longer, for me, it's no longer about financial gain or anything. It's just about I just want to build so many opportunities for other people and for myself so that I can look after the people I love, so I can look after my mum, my family, my friends, strangers. I think that's the true driver for me. Yeah.
So is it safe to assume current life for you is quite hectic, quite busy with everything sort of going on?
I think I'm definitely in I'm in a season for sure of growth. I'd still say I have full control over I can just take a minute if I need a minute. You know what I mean?
Well, run us through what's a typical day look like for you.
Are
you an early riser? Or you're
do you know what?
Sleeping.
I would say average. I'll get up. At the moment, I probably get up around 6:30.
Yep.
I used to be 4:30 in the morning when I was a PT.
That's the season I'm coming into at the moment.
6 a.m.
No, we're at, depending if we're going for our morning hot girl walk or going for a surf.
Yeah.
It's either 4:30
Wild.
every morning, meeting at either Mooloolaba or Kawana.
I love that. Hats off to you. I can't. It's not in me anymore. So it usually starts around 6:30. I'll go down to the Bully because I live near there. I'll bring my laptop. instantly for me, I'll send a client brief to one of the guys based on the work that they do. From there, there'll usually be like, I'll receive some information around like what I need to do around systems and procedures in one of the businesses that might need altering based on the variables. From there, it'll usually be, I'll be briefing any updates to like some of the guys on the team if they need that over there. I'll be chatting to a guy over in Egypt who is developing something, the app for me at the moment. I'll have a coaching call, maybe a few coaching calls depending on the day. And then in between that, I'll probably just go pretty hard till around 4 or 5 o'clock. Go train, come back, go finish some more work. My night, I usually go to bed about like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my day, and it does sound really hectic, but also I have the choice and control of being like, I don't want to. I want to have a day off.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean? Like there is freedom, but it's also one of those things where I love it. I love this. Like this is what I'm built for. I'm built to create solutions to problems and to create opportunities for people. Like that's just what I love. That's why I'm here.
Yeah. Well, but I'm going to ask you a bit of a selfish question.
Yeah.
For myself, I'm sure it's going to resonate with some people as well.
Yeah.
How did you go about like actually starting and actually getting clients for like these like travel fit and stuff like that when you're sort of advertising stuff online?
Yeah.
Like how do you actually go from advertising this stuff to then say landing clients that are say in Sydney, Melbourne or anywhere around the world? Like was it just outreach?
There's variables. There's definitely variables. So one thing I'll point out really quickly is that everyone goes through Instagram, and Instagram's great and it does do a good job, but you also have to look at the model of business that you're in. Mm-hmm. So every model does have a preferred lead generation way. Mm-hmm. A great example, if I'm doing corporate stuff like speaking events or I'm implementing a program into a corporate business, I'm going to reach out to people on LinkedIn through HR, and I'm going to mass produce messages. A lot of people are like, Chris, it's got to be like personal, just do one person at a time, whatever it is. And it's like, that's great, but I'm in the volume game. Like that's how I know I work. Yeah. And I'm not afraid of a no. So I just keep going. There's billions of people in the world, so it's not a real issue. And we do a good job. So with the speaking events, whatever it is, like people will talk positive things. So it's not bad. I believe it's not an issue with volume. So if we're doing corporate stuff, I believe LinkedIn is the way to go. If you're doing products, that's a completely different game as well, like Facebook marketing, Google's things, SEO, things of that nature. If you're generally just in, let's just say, a brick and mortar business, I believe first and foremost just calling leads. If you want to talk about like generating leads, there is a tool that I use, and it's kind of like, I don't want to tell you. No, I'll tell you.
Off camera.
Yeah. No. It's called Apollo.
Apollo, yeah.
Oh, you really should have got sponsored by them. You reach out, hey, we'll put you on an episode. No, Apollo's a really good one that I use. There's heaps out there, but Apollo, what it does is it scrapes data from channels all over the internet. Mm-hmm. Use mainly LinkedIn as well, but you can find a business. You can get the email, the mobile of all these people in this business. You can contact them, or you can set them off on an automation.
I've used a very similar thing before. It wasn't Apollo. I can't remember what it was, but I have tried something similar. They just give you like the big database and stuff like that.
And you just go hard. You can just create campaigns, funnels, the whole thing. So it can just be that simple. I do personally believe that there's always a point of contact that you can find that will be a goldmine in referrals too. So I guess like if you're in, let's just say that you are a roofer. Mm-hmm. If you're a roofer and you look close enough, you'll see in the insurance world, there's in some insurance clauses you can get like your replaced in a certain time frame if there's damage to it based on the clauses or conditions. So you could actually call up, create a little referral network between like an insurer and a roofer, or you could go like a builder and a Sparky, or you could go Bunnings and whatever, just as an example. But like you need to find an optimal referral partner that's going to bring in your evergreen leads. Mm-hmm. And then like the cold outreach is really your mass production of new business that might be at a higher package price too. But I think that there's two things too. It's like, I won't stop talking now. There's like two things too. It's like understanding, it's like, well, what is your package cost? Is it subscription? Is it package? What is it? Like, what does your pricing look like? Then looking at how much you need to make to survive, to break even, how much you want to make in profit, how much you want to make as the dream goal. Mm-hmm. And then you need to break down the amount of money that is, and then break down what average package will someone buy, how many people need to buy that package or that subscription, in what time frame, how many people do you need to reach out based on your conversion rate to then get that goal hit. So a great example, I said to someone the other day, it's like, cool, you have to reach out to 500 people. Out of that 500, this many people talk to you, this many people have meetings, this many people convert. This will give you an average of this. This should give you this amount. This should give you this outcome. Mm-hmm. So it just funnels through everything. So understanding your numbers and the data is so important, because if you don't have that, you don't have clarity. If you don't have clarity, you don't believe in what you're doing. You don't believe in what you're doing, you can't reach a goal because you don't believe that you can actually get to the goal. So if you understand how to get to the goal, you can get the goal.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Sorry.
And, obviously, with that, do you also believe like how your social media is like presented and how it looks is a big factor, or it doesn't matter as much as what people think?
I really don't generate anything from my social media. Like a bit here and there. I don't even use it.
Okay.
Like leads just come to me. Like people find me. I don't like, and I actually believe that's because I've spent such a long amount of time that I've accrued a lot of momentum being paid back to me after such delayed gratification. That's just what I believe. I believe that I'm being gifted from all the seeds that I planted very long ago. I still do outreach and things of that nature. I get my manager to do some stuff. The crops are
starting to harvest.
Yeah, for sure. I completely believe that what your profile looks like, how you present it, what resources you have on there, what your plan is, will bring people in and get people in there, because I use that for PT, and I had at the time 200 to 500 followers on my PT page, and I followed that cycle of marketing / presenting the brand, and it always worked every time when I did have campaigns running.
Yeah.
So it definitely works, but I do think it's good to take away the notion that that is the only place that you can generate business and should be the only place that you do generate business. I think there is so much opportunity out there. It's crazy.
I've got to ask, it's probably just my youth coming out, but LinkedIn, is it really that good?
It's so good. I've
never used LinkedIn in my life. I've made a profile, but didn't realize how good it can actually be for outreach.
You have to think that anyone who's on LinkedIn is on there for, I guess, a professional standpoint, which usually means that they're more open to being pitched.
Okay.
Because they're more open to being pitched, they're more open to having a conversation. So they're warmer than maybe a cold outreach as well. I would say they're lukewarm instead of completely cold. So I'm a big fan of it. The other thing is that if you have a great LinkedIn profile and you make it look exceptional, like you're an expert in your field, which I hope you are if that's what you're doing, then people will see that and they would recognize that. So there's already proof of concept that you know what you're talking about. So you've already been validated, because you have to connect with them for them to see your profile, and everyone looks at your profiles, and you know who looks at your profile. So you know who's interested. So then you can reach out to people who are interested as well. Big fan.
I might have to start looking a little bit more into LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Now, we've touched a few times on travel. I'm a huge travel person. What is the best and worst place you've ever visited?
It's really hard to say the best, hey. I'll say there's so many places.
The best moment of time on a trip.
I think I've had so many. I think Morocco Morocco was a really good one. I actually really thoroughly enjoyed Morocco.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Morocco because it was like super welcoming. The people there were really invited me for dinner, like strangers invite you for dinner. Like it is very like a very open and welcoming place. The cool thing about it was that, you know, I was in the Sahara Desert, like camping with a group of people, and you just see the stars at night. And I think the biggest reflection that I had when I was there was like the nomads, people who like walk the camels or just walk through the desert. And we're like, oh, do you watch TV? And they're like, oh, yeah, we watch Sky TV every night. And it's like, it's just so nice. And we're like, oh, are you happy? And he's like, yeah, I've got my my family and friends, and I've got freedom. I have my camels. I have everything. And that was probably the most, I guess, the biggest realize I had that life is just not as hard as we make it to be. So that would be probably the best to a degree. There's so many, it's so hard, but that's probably the big one. But the worst, oh man, I actually like everything, but probably, I don't know, I don't want to be attacked by like people from another country. But probably I would say Budapest was not my favorite. It was still nice, still good, but I'm a community kind of driven person, and like I didn't feel like there was much accepting community there. So that was probably the worst.
Is there a dream trip or adventure that you'd like to go on?
Probably dream adventure is, well, the travel trip venture, whatever it is, like the goal for me has always been to just host 10 retreats in 10 countries every year and just travel to each retreat and just kind of enjoy life that way. But I think the dream adventure is to travel to Mongolia and just see what's there and enjoy it and just be exposed to new cultures and new experiences.
And is this 10 retreats in 10 countries, is this part of this world tour?
No, so it's part of me preparing for the world. It's part of preparing for the 10 retreats in 10 countries. So next year is me going to multiple countries to connect with people, a part of like my network in like Dubai, Egypt, America, all over the place. So I wanted to go to each place, have a few pop-up like speaking events or fun little community events, all free. Like it's not going to cost anything because it is an absolute effort to organize a visa for every country. Especially in America is actually really hard. So the thing for me is I just want to go to these different countries, meet people at part of my network that I haven't met in person, meet some more people, get familiar with the surroundings, and really cement in these 10 locations that are going to be the next 10 locations that we do forever. So, yeah.
We've spoken a lot about the past, the present. What's the future look like?
Oh, the future. I don't know. The future is interesting because...
Like, where do you see yourself in the next 10, 20, 30 years?
Yeah, I have this all planned. I have something called the Morning Formula, and I like read it every day. I love it. First and foremost, I think the future always changes based on the person you become. So I don't think it's ever set in stone. But from what I see and what I want, even just, let's just say 10 years from now, for me it is to build a portfolio of multiple businesses, to have those businesses run by a bunch of people, to offer multiple benefits within all those businesses to create more opportunity, more freedom for people who are a part of it, and just really have Travel Fit embedded in multiple communities around the world where we have events, experiences, a community app that takes over Instagram, Facebook, all those things, where it's just like you go on this app to connect, to meet up, and it's just like an opportunity for people to not be bombarded with ads or negative filled media. and just start to help rewire the way people think and feel through mind, body, and soul, one experience at a time. To have a family would be great. That'd be amazing. That's a big value of mine. And yeah, like just to make sure all the people I love are looked after.
And do you think ticking off all of those, you'll, when you're 80 years old, hopefully even longer, laying in a hospital bed, do you think you'll feel fulfilled and happy if you can?
I could die tomorrow and I'd feel fulfilled and happy. I've done, like, as hard as it may be for people to see, but I've had a lot of experiences in life. Like, don't get me wrong, there's lots I want to do still, but I could die tomorrow happy.
Yeah.
Because I've overcome challenges. I've shown up as, the worst version of myself and then transitioned that into the best version of myself. I've been able to have a positive impact on thousands, like legitimately thousands of lives. Like, even like I said before, like I ran an online event called the Do a Good Deed Challenge when I was 21, and that had 30,000 people involved all around the world that just did a good deed for a stranger, before social media was a trending thing.
Yeah.
Man, I was so early to it. Damn. But yeah, like I could die happy knowing that I've changed the narrative of the story that I'm living, and I do truly believe that I'm changing, if not changed, the generational code that my family's been living for a long time. Like, I genuinely feel like I'm the change maker, and I've already made such a huge change in that line. So, I believe I could die tomorrow happy because I've shown up the best I can and continue to constantly strive for more. And I know that I've done so much for not only myself, but for other people.
It's funny you say that. That's one thing with, as much as sort of getting into the podcasting, it's the big thing for me is traveling. I've got some pretty crazy adventures I'd like to do. And it's like, I have started to have that shift where it's like, it was always, I want to try and live as long as I can and stuff. But it sounds a little bit grim, but I heard this quote, which I'm like, it's so true. It's like, I want to go on all these crazy adventures, crazy trips. It's like, if I die on the adventure, I stay on the adventure. And I think I've come to terms with, I would be so much happier, again, it sounds really grim, dying at 35, but have lived this life that I always wanted to do versus, say, living to 80 and sort of just being a feather in the wind and just sort of going through life, not really accomplishing anything.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's got different outlooks and different takes on things.
I think it's true. Like, I think so many people are so afraid to stand out of the fear of judgment of being incorrect, politically incorrect, or whatever it is. That's a whole nother thing. But I think there is nothing, you said this at the beginning, like there is the highest vibrating frequency is authenticity. If you are authentically yourself, you can literally change someone's life just being in the radius of other people.
Yeah.
And there's one thing I always get all the time. I find it so interesting. They're like, "Oh, you're really infectious, Chris." And I'm like, "Oh, that's so nice." But it's like, I never actually understood it. But then only recently I was like, "Oh, it's because I actually just am me."
Yeah.
And I don't care whether you accept me or not, because I don't want to not be me. I'm choosing to be me. And I think if more people, and there's parameters in that. You can't take the piss. A lot of people take the piss with that. There's parameters. Being authentically yourself means that you show up with, I believe, kindness and love, and you don't have a hardened heart, and you're not trying to do ill will in the world. You're just showing up as yourself, and you're speaking on what is aligned with your values and beliefs. But in saying that, you also don't care what anyone else thinks.
Yeah, I like that. And the final question I'd like to ask, if all the Instagram reels and all of the self-help motivation was deleted off the face of the internet, but you still knew everything that you know, what's the one piece of advice you'd tell everybody?
Let me think. That's a big one. it wouldn't be, I don't know if it would be a piece of education or a tool. I think it would just be that it doesn't matter what anyone thinks about you or how they feel about you. It's only that if you keep showing up every day and you keep walking up that staircase, just make sure that you take a minute to look back and see how far that you've walked up that staircase, how far you've gone, how far you've been, and be grateful for the fact that you have the opportunity and the choice to keep walking up that staircase. And that staircase could be showing up for yourself, getting up in the morning when you feel really depressed. The staircase could be, each step could be having something healthy to eat instead of the junk will make your body feel inflamed. It could be telling the person that in your life that you've never said I love you to, saying I love you to. It really ties into showing up for yourself every day, taking a step and being grateful that you're on the journey of this life, and that it actually doesn't matter if you get it wrong, because we're all on our own timeline and we're always on the right time frame. And whatever you do, you will end up where you want to be as long as you keep stepping up that staircase in life.
Appreciate it. Guys, thank you for listening. This has been another episode of The Great Human Reconnect. I'm your host, Hayden Binney, and until next time.